All right, so just got finished doing some apologetics and witnessing to a guy. Um, first, it was on Facebook, and first off, I want to say when you do apologetics, it has to be from a place of love. Because if you have love, you don't have love, you have nothing. So when we speak to people and present them with the gospel and learn how to defend the gospel, it has to be in love. So what good is giving a person a rose if you cut their nose off? What good is that? So we always have to move within love. So I'll tell you just the story that I was just having. A discussion I was having. One of my Facebook friends went live with the show, and I was listening to a guy on there that believes other than a Old Testament and New Testament biblical worldview all put together, pointing back to Jesus. So I was listening, and I heard him saying some things, and I was like, asking him questions in the chat. I was like, so what do you believe about this? What do you believe about that? And I wanted to be very transparent as to I always want to hold space for people that don't believe what I believe or have a different viewpoint. I always want to hold space for them and not judge them for what they believe in or make them feel bad about what they believe in. But let's come to the table together and figure out truth, not in an antagonizing way or in a mean way, but in love. Let's figure out what the truth is. So I saw him on there and I was asking him questions and I let him know my heart in the chat. And I was telling him, hey, I'm asking you these questions because I'm genuinely curious. Why do you believe what you believe? And it's not out of secondary, behind the back kind of gotcha kind of way and tripping you up. It was literally. Sorry, my AirPod had died. But it was literally in a way of saying, like, hey, I would really want to know what you believe because I don't want to assume anything and make myself look dumb by trying to throw something on a person or say something about a person that isn't true or trying to assume what they believe. So I'm going to just literally ask you, what is it that you believe? And ask you a series of questions because I don't understand what that means or I'm just looking for clarification. So I hopped on the live with them as the show was going on between one of my friends and the guy. And so they're going back and forth, and they say, "Hey man, why don't you hop on the live?" I hopped on. I listened to what he had to say, and by that time they only had like 2 minutes left. So he was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry guys, but we have to get out the studio because the next show is coming on." Yada yada. And the guy he said, "Hey man, hit me up in my DM and we can discuss further what I think about like Paul in the New Testament." I said, "Cool, no problem. I just want to get an understanding of what you believe." So about 15 minutes later, 10 minutes, whatever, I hit him in his DM, sent him a friend request. I was like, "Hey man, it was good talking to you. I just want to get what you when you said about Paul and his contradictions of what Jesus taught. Like, what is that? Can you point me to some of those contradictions?" And he pointed me to a post that he had, and it was like 20 something different things that he says that Paul contradicts Jesus on. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to read through these. So I read through the first one, second one, third one, fourth one, realized there's 20 of them. And I was like, okay, well, let me just go to the first one and see what he says. And he quotes these scriptures. And he's saying that Paul is saying one thing and Jesus is saying a whole different thing. And so I read the verses and I was like, oh, if you just read a little bit more or read before that, this is called exegeting. When you read the full in the full chapter in its proper context, you get, oh, this is what he's talking about, or this is what he's pointing to, or this is what Paul means. And he's saying and he's echoing exactly what Jesus has already said about the law, about whatever it is. And so I'm having this conversation in the DM with the guy, and it kind of came down to he was like, "Hey man, you believe what you believe." And I was like, "Okay, cool. I hope we can. I hope we got a better understanding of one another." And he hits me back with the let's get hold on 1 second. My bad. I just had to go back to reread, make sure everything was in context. So we first started out, like I said, in the DM, saying, "Hey, good talking to you on the live. Good talking to you on the live. Let's continue this conversation. Cool. We both like, all right. Let's talk about this." So when we get down to the end, after I go through the verses and everything, and I said, he says, you can believe what you want to believe, and I was like, okay, cool. I can see this is where the conversation is ending at, and I said, well, I'm glad that we got to talk, and I hope we understand one another better after this conversation. And at the end, he hits me back with saying this. He says, "I am not learning from you, young man. You asked me. Big difference." And then this is where the love comes in to be like, okay, I got you. I'm not going to get into this, back and forth with you. I hope you enjoy. I didn't even text him back after that. It's just, I have to leave it at that because we started off at a good place, and at the end, I'm not learning from you, young man. There's a sense of pride there, and that's okay. You just, as apologist or someone who loves Jesus, and when you present someone with proof and with love, and they don't receive it, don't push it on them. Just back off. You planted that seed already. There's no need for you to go in and try to water that seed. No, you gonna get this word. No, just let it go. Even if they come back with discouraging words or something, saying something crazy about you or whatever, never take it personal. Just let it go off to the side. Just let the conversation end, and that's where I had to let the conversation go. But this is mainly to be like an encouragement to those of us who are um, uh, pursuing Jesus in a true and loving way, that we all stay humble and stay at Jesus's feet. We will never get higher than Jesus's feet. We will always stay at his feet. And to always love, carry ourselves in love in every aspect that we do, in everything that we do at your job, when you're out telling people about Jesus, when you feel like you have an attitude with your spouse or your children or whatever it is, always carry ourselves in love. And I hope this is an encouraging video. So peace.